Stop using the mouse. These are the VS Code shortcuts that 10 times my productivity. Check the video. Okay, let's get started. Control panel, you have to use Ctrl+Shift+P, look for commands, and then you're good to go. So I can open a folder. Good. Next shortcut is Ctrl+P to look for a specific file. I'm going to featured tools. Ctrl+P also helps you to look for other locations on your code base. So I'm looking for the description here, and it leads me there, which is a cool feature. So to open a new window is Ctrl+Shift+N. Open a new project in that window is Ctrl+R. Move to another project. If I want to close the window is Ctrl+Shift+W, and that's it. For basic editing, it's quite clear. So if I want to cut a chunk of code, it's Ctrl+X, undo, Ctrl+Z. To remove a chunk of code here, Ctrl+Shift+K to remove it without copying it to the clipboard. And to move things up and down is Alt-Up, Alt-Down. Alt up, Alt down. To duplicate things is Shift Alt down. To insert a line below is Control Enter. So to insert above is Control Shift Enter. So Control Shift Enter, and it goes above. I have a code with matching brackets, but to navigate there, I go Control Shift G to open source control. Control B to close the panel. Control G to look at a specific line of code. So I'm going to line 26. So when I go there, I want to navigate to the curly brace. So Control Shift / so /, and it sends me to the curly brace, and I can actually navigate there. So to indent and outdent a line, Control square bracket left, square bracket right, or outdent this way. So no matter where the file is, so I can move my cursor here, outdent, indent, quite useful, especially Python devs. So home to go to the beginning of a file, and to go to the end of a file. Go to the beginning is Control home, so I go to the beginning, to the end is Control end, and that's nice. To scroll across is Control up, scroll down is Control down, and you are in a good position. So scroll up, scroll down. So I'm going home again. To scroll a page up and down is Alt, page up, and page down. So page up, page down to scroll action. So I want to collapse this code region, which is here. To collapse the code region, Control Shift square bracket, it will collapse it, and the right square bracket to open it. So that's kind of 10. Cool. I want to add a comment. So comment is just basically, let me open this. Comment is just this Control /. Let me undo that. But I want to comment a selected word. So the selected word is this brand push. So to select stuff is Shift and then you move your cursor. Then I click on Shift Alt E, and it will only comment this side of the code that I selected, which is cool. Let me undo that. Show our symbols, Ctrl+T, which is nice. Ctrl+T again. So I can look for specific aspects or symbols in my file. So I'm looking for brand, and it will send me the place. So what about Ctrl+Shift+O? So I can go to specific symbols. You see, it is just like Ctrl+P bar with the @ symbol. But when I do Ctrl+Shift+O, it's going to just navigate throughout, and I can just go to the exact point I want, and it sends the cursor there. Let's say I want to find a file. We go with Ctrl+F. So I'm finding the word called brand, and it locates that word for me. And what if I want to replace stuff? So Ctrl+H. So I can replace brand with brands, and just replace all with this, and it will change to brands for some reason, but I'll just undo that and I'll be fine, which is cool. So what about this? And a cool shortcut, which is always cool, is this Ctrl+D. So I select all instances of files and I can change it to something else, so source or soul or whatever, and it will replace it. So let me go back to default again. And if I want to select a line, I use Ctrl+L, and it will select the particular line that I want. So Ctrl+L. It's just continue selecting stuff, right? And that's basically it. Very useful. Ctrl+L. What if I want to select the instances of all words with the word called brand and replace it? So I'm using Ctrl right left. So Ctrl left, Ctrl right. This will move line by line, which is cool. So to replace stuff is Ctrl+Shift+L, and it will find all instances of the word brand. And when it finds that, all that you just do is you can replace it with whatever you want. So I can replace it with car, and it will replace all across the board. So cool shortcut. Also, another cool shortcut is F2. So with F2, I change stuff. So I can change it to whatever I want. So I'll change it to class. And this is what it does, which is very useful. The last set is with our file management. So let's say I want to open a new file. So that will be Ctrl+N. And it will create a new file for us. And let me go back to the previous file, which is this. Let's say you want to open a new file, it's Ctrl+O. You select the file that you want to open, and it will open it. Let's say I want to files, so I'll go with Ctrl+K, and then with the code, I click Ctrl+W, and it will close all files. I want to undo it, it's Ctrl+Shift+T to pretty much undo all the files, which is great. Let's say I want to actually focus on things being active, it's Ctrl+K and then R. I want to know the exact place where the file is located in Explorer. That's it. I choose a different file with this Ctrl+K and then R again, and it shows me that file in my Windows Explorer. And let's say I want to open this specific file in a new window. It is Ctrl+K and then O, which will open the file in a new window in which I can edit it directly with no problems, like Ctrl+Shift+K on it, and it will work. Close it. So let's say I want to find everything in files. It's Ctrl+Shift+F, and I can find every reference of the word called car. Basically, scroll across the board and look for what I want. So maybe cars, go to card, maybe I can look for any word and know all the references. So maybe this, and it will send me to the exact file where it is, which is wonderful. Also, Ctrl+Shift+H is also find and replace for stuff all across your project. So if I look for the word there and then I use replace over here, I can change it to whatever that I want, but this is much risky. But it's there if you want to use it across your project, but I'm not doing so since it's risky. So if you are done, you can just go and then use replace all over here, the button called replace all, and you're fine. So let's say I want to navigate all across tabs. So it's Alt+1 for the first tab, Alt+2 for the second, Alt+3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Basically Alt+0 will send you to the last file and Alt+1 will send you to the first file. And let's say you want to go to a file. So Control Tab, again, I'm looking for, let's say you want to trigger IntelliSense. It's Control space. In this case, no suggestions, but over here, Control space, and it recommends the stuff for you with the IntelliSense, which is nice. Something similar to is with this, so Control dot. So Control dot will give you options so that you can do interesting stuff. So move your code, so maybe inline variable, and it did that. Did you see that? That's it. Good. And what about Ctrl+Shift+Dot? So Ctrl+Shift+Dot is also another tool that lets you to basically move across your project sections. It's just basically the same as the Ctrl+Shift+O shortcuts. But in this case, it's much more close by. So Ctrl+Shift+Dot, and you can navigate, which is nice.